آله وصحبه ومن والاه. اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. اللهم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. سبحانك لا نحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك. أنت المقدم وأنت المؤخر وأنت على كل شيء قدير. اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما واجعل التفرق بعده تفرقا معصوما ولا تدع فينا شقيا ولا محروما. اللهم آمين. In the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most compassionate, the most merciful, all praise and thanks are due to him and peace and blessings be upon his beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He who is guided by the will of Allah, no one can misguide him, and he who is misguided, no one can guide him except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I do bear witness that there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is his messenger. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today inshallah, we will be, today our tafsir session number 102. Inshallah. Alhamdulillah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala yakuna shahadatan lana la alayna. We will be dealing with قول الله تعالى تلك آيات الله نتلوها عليك بالحق وإنك لمن المرسلين. Verse 252 from chapter Al-Baqarah. Just as those who attend with us most of the time or always, we always try to connect what happens at least 2 sessions sometimes, just to keep you on the track with us. Last time we finished the Quranic, let's say, version of part of the story of Dawood alayhi salam and Goliath and Saul or Talut. Now we had many lessons, especially we highlighted something has to do with the nature of the story in the Quran. That wherever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning a story, Allah by his wisdom choose just what we need from the lesson of the story. So therefore we are not concerned with a lot of details that we don't need. Now one of the biggest aims, goals of the story, لعلهم يتفكرون. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was asking Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he made about 1/3 of the Quran to be stories so that we reflect upon, we take lessons. Now, the children of Israel in specific, starting from Yaqub, Jacob alayhi salam, going through Yusuf alayhi salam, then Musa alayhi salam, then Dawood and Sulaiman alayhi salam, then Al-Imran, then Isa alayhi salam. Jazakallah khair, barakallah fiik, shukran jazilan, nafa'a Allahu bikum. Jazakumullah khair, barakallah fiik, rahimallahu walidaykum, jazakumullah khair, barakallah fiikum. We are not exaggerating, obviously say they have the biggest share of stories in the Quran. But why? The decision of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why those in specific? It's Allah decided to choose them out of, and we keep repeating, be careful. Prophet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, وَرُسُلًا لَمْ نَقْصُصْهُمْ عَلَيْكَ. Allah is clearly, literally telling Muhammad, we have already told you about a number of prophets and messengers. However, there is a number of prophets and messengers we have not told you about. In a hadith, Sahih, Prophet Muhammad was asked, what is the number of prophets and messengers? He said, then 124,000 prophets, 315 messengers. We know of them 325. So therefore, why? Simply, it's the decision of Allah. Are you with me? And Allah is the one who decided to choose this group out of those tens of thousands. And by the way, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَمَا كُنَّا مُعَذِّبِينَ حَتَّى نَبْعَثَ رَسُولًا. Allah will not punish till He sends a messenger. طيب, وَمَا مِنْ أُمَّةٍ إِلَّا خَلَا فِيهَا نَذِيرٌ. There is no nation, but by the will of Allah, they received the messenger. But we don't know the details. So what about the people of XYZ in that area 15,000 years ago? We don't know, but the general information, yes. But what if not? Habib, it's not your business. Wallahi, billahi, tallahi. I faced some of my students. I was one of the private high schools teaching about 32 years ago. Exactly tell you, 1989, 34 years ago, I was an Islamic studies teacher. My first year, 1989. I think it was grade 11 or 10. It's a private mixed school, boys and girls. I'll talk about 15, 16 years old, grade 10, 11, more or less. I remember myself coming to the class, about 35 students, some of them, they were fighting about what will happen with the people of Eskimo and some of the people of the Amazon forests. Is it there possible, Ustad, that they might go to Jahannam? But what if they did not receive? And I know those who were asking me the question, they don't pray. So subhanallah, I remember myself, it was my first experience 34 years ago. I looked at one of them, they were literally fighting, they were screaming, no, where's the mercy of Allah, where's the justice of Allah? What if the people of Eskimo did not receive such and such? What if? I said, wait. Just give me simple answer. Do you think you are more merciful on them than Allah? I said, what? If you think so, you have already committed the kufr, because you think you are better than Allah. What kind of idiots question is this? You know why I'm saying this? Because when you discuss, some people, they spend their lives searching for the things that are hidden, no access to this knowledge. No access, it's ilm ghaib. So therefore, you notice, I keep repeating, focus on what you have. Spare the time for what you know for sure, period. Some people, they say, but I don't see the problem. You don't see it, I see it. You are not the one who's receiving 10 problems every day. You are not the one who's sitting with the parents, their kids, they are losing their faith because they are leading this kind of empty, dirty, filthy stuff. What if they go to this kind of possibilities, philosophical arguments, what if, well, wallahi. I sat with some people, they believed in the old ancient. I sat with an Egyptian boy, 16 years old. He kept reading in the internet, especially at the time of the corona. He came up with the following conclusion. Definitely, he rejects the Quran and the Torah and the Injil and everything. He does not believe in anything of his books. He believed in the following, that there was a very, very civilized nation, aliens, came thousands and millions of years ago, and they built the pyramids in Egypt, and they put their secrets there, and he's searching for secrets to follow them. The movies, Hollywood. But by the way, I'm not joking. Wallahi, he was so arrogant with me, and so rude. He came with his father, because his father thought he had some kind of doubts in Islam, and he might be developing an atheistic questions. I discovered that his kid, at least 6 years ago, he has already left Islam, and he does not believe in anything to do with all of monotheistic religions. And the father, Miskin, he thought that his kid is still developing some questions that might lead him to leave Islam. Habibi, 6 years ago he has left Islam. This is a real case in this office. Okay, I'm sometimes searching for in the empty, unneeded things. So we need to be careful about this. Why? Stories. That's why, if you don't have an authentic thing that you can depend on, don't waste your time. Fine. Last time, one of the biggest lessons of Talut, Jalut, and Dawood alayhi salam, just to remind you that obedience. Do you remember? Obedience. He commanded them, we will cross the river, don't drink. Why? It's a matter of attitude of respect. This is the whole idea, by the way. The whole idea of testing. قُلْ مَا يَفْعَلُ اللَّهُ بِعَذَابِكُمْ إِن شَكَرْتُمْ. What do you think Allah will be benefiting from punishing you or me if you are gratitude and thankful? Nothing. Do you think my prostration, sujood to Allah will increase His divinity? No. Do you think my kufr, your kufr, our rejection, our rudeness with Allah will decrease, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, His divinity? No. قل لن ينال الله لحومها ولا دماؤها. Nothing will reach Allah from this kind of slaughtering animals or doing. بل يناله التقوى منكم. What He will be receiving is your attitude of being mindful and respectful to Allah. By this you will be rewarded. So it's an attitude, it's not the action. That's why when you speak about ritual worship or the general meaning of worship, we are obedience. So that's why, subhanallah, we pray. Type. If we can't pray normally, we pray while we are sitting. If we can't sit, laying down. If you can't, on your eyes. You can't move your eyes on your heart. So the idea is not the shape, it's the attitude. If you lose completely your conscience, you are forgiven. That's why subhanallah, for women, when they have their period time, if they don't have the period, for the adult female in Islam, fasting Ramadan is compulsory. If she started the period, it's haram. If she's fasting, she's committing a sin. What? But, oh yes, the one who commanded this is the one who commanded this. La ilaha illallah. But why? Regardless of why. We're not discussing the why now. That's why I keep always telling you, just to feel this kind of peace and tranquility of being proud of your religion. If any non-believer, regardless what kind of ideology he's following, non-believer, agnostic, atheist, liberal, whatever, if he told him, why when I say wait, you as a non-believer, do you believe in the existence of private corporations? Yes or no? Do we have it or that? Do we have them in our lives or not? Do you have companies? Yes, no. Do we have armies? Is there any secular atheist country on earth without an army? No. But is there a possibility of an existence for an army to protect a country without discipline? Yes or no? What is the core point of an army? Discipline. The discipline organization. If everyone wants to do what he wants and to ask about what he wants in the time he wants, and he will fulfill what he wants in the time he wants, there's no army. Army is based on following commandments. Go and protect that area. Why? Go and protect it, and that's it. This is what we do as secular people. True or false? Am I exaggerating? The private sector, حبيبي, يلا تعال. Private sector, dress code. You have to wear this. You have to wear this. حاضر أستاذ. صح؟ في salary $1,000. Subhanallah. Is this true or not? Don't private, non-believing big corporates have a lot of restriction against their employees or not? Has to do with their clothes. You have, for example, dressing codes, official meetings, you must have a tie. But I hate a tie. You must have a tie. Am I exaggerating or this is part of the system? But this is my personal privacy. يلا, out, go. روح حبيبي, اشتغل عند أبوك. Don't they do it or not? But why we accept it? I'm talking about secular world now. Liberal world. Dressing code, behavior code, subhanallah. But they have nice names. Huh?
Why are you posting this on social media?
Yes, social media. Huh? They have restrictions, regardless. As long as you have restriction in your institution, organization, company, corporate, country, state, why it's the case when we come to religion, subhanallah ya akhi, religions, they have restrictions. Oh my God, oh la la. As if everything else has no restrictions. Tell me about one respected organization on earth. They have the power and authority and they don't have restrictions in their system. One example, I challenge. Tell me, in political sphere, economy, business, whatever, tell me, تفضل. Who can challenge me? Does not have a system, order, clergy, clerical system, power, authorities, and restrictions. Give me one example. Can you? It's impossible. Does not exist. Why when we come to religion of Allah, That's it. So you know, why I'm telling that? Because one of the basic things when listening to the directions of the Quran, submission. Because if you kept on questioning everything and trying to reinvent the wheel every moment for everything, you will end up doing nothing. Like I liked that quotation that Andrew Tate did. Do you know it? When he was, before embracing Islam, Andrew Tate, I'm quoting 90% of the core point of his art. Andrew Tate was a Christian. He was following the Orthodox Church of Romania. So he was having his, I don't know, TikTok or YouTube channel. You know, he's a boxer. He used to be a boxer. You know, was opening, it's just like they're speaking as a non-believer now. He was saying, if I want to bid on a religion, it will be Islam. They asked him, he said, but why Islam? He said, no, because Islam is the only religion that I can see that they do not tolerate everything. He made an example, I'm quoting him. He said, if I wore a t-shirt contains an insult for Jesus Christ, and I decided to walk through the streets of London, I hope I'm quoting him well from my memory, I think nothing will happen to me. I said, if I decided to have a t-shirt containing an insult for Muhammad, I don't think I will end up at the end of the street. Then he said, now if you, look, now this is the quotation, correct me if I'm wrong. He said, if you kept on tolerating everything, you will stand up for nothing. What? Yes. You know, I'm tolerant, everything is okay. What do you think about this? It's okay. It's okay. Where's the limits? Where's the borderline of whatever? Nothing. You will end up, you will stand up for what? Nothing. Like, you will be like, you know, the jello? الإنجليزي بيحكوا الجيلو صح؟ ورجلي جيلو. Look the jello. What is the borderline of the jello? ما في borderline. There's no solid existence. It's so flexible to a degree that you can shape it, form it as whatever, whenever you want. You can smash it, cut it to pieces, squeeze it, whatever form. يا عمي, the difference between jello and iron. Iron. Hadid. This is me. You accept me like this or go away to find something else soft. I'm hadid. I'm sakhra. And this is how we need to start the basics, okay? Okay, this is just introduction. I have not started the lesson yet. But it's a very important introduction. In light of this, we finished last time قول الله تعالى فهزموهم بإذن الله وقتل داود جالوت وآتاه الله الملك والحكمة وعلمه مما يشاء ولولا دفع الله الناس بعضهم ببعض لفسدت الأرض ولكن الله ذو فضل على العالمين. This is what finished last time. So they defeated them by Allah's will. And David killed Goliath, and Allah blessed David with kingship and wisdom and taught him what he willed. Now we said, according to the common sense, David was a young man. Or he was, you know, a powerful young man, maybe 18, maybe 19, but definitely not a kid. And we do not accept the biblical narrations that he was a very small kid and he used, you know, this sling and something, you know, because وَآتَاهُ اللَّهُ الْمُلْكَ وَالْحِكْمَةِ. He was given the kingship, the leadership, and then the prophethood, and will not be given for small child. Anyway, we don't believe in others' narrations, we believe in ours. What I did not focus last time, because I finished this and I will read from Al-Mawdudi, Tafsir Al-Mawdudi, something has to do with the second part, which is وَلَوْلَا دَفْعُ اللَّهِ النَّاسَ بَعْضَهُمْ بِبَعْضٍ لَفَسَدَتِ الْأَرْضِ. Had Allah not repelled a group of people by the might of another, corruption would have dominated the earth. But Allah is gracious to all. Last time I finished here and I did not read what Al-Mawdudi said. Let me just read very quickly what Al-Mawdudi in his tafsir called Tafhim al-Quran. Al-Mawdudi, one of the greatest scholar of the subcontinents, India and Pakistan and Bangladesh. He used to be one of the greatest scholar there. Abu al-A'la al-Mawdudi. He has tens of books about Islam. They are written in English. Some of them they were written in Urdu, translated, and some of them they were directly written in English. He has tafsir called Tafhim al-Quran. He says, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. This, I mean, وَلَوْلَا دَفْعُ اللَّهِ, he's commenting on this ayah or sunnah, kawniyya, this divine law. This explains the principle according to which Allah treats the nations. Very important to understand it. Allah is giving us one of the divine laws, how Allah is operating the world of the people regardless of their faith. Because Allah said, وَلَوْ دَفْعُ اللَّهِ النَّاسِ. He didn't say the believers or non-believers. He said what? People. It's a general divine law, which is applicable in everyone, generally. It's like, what I say, because, by the way, we have specific laws and we have general laws. Now, specific law, وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَل لَهُ مَخْرَجًا. The one who's mindful, respectful of Allah, Allah will give him an exit. Being mindful has a prerequisite, which is what? Mu'min. Taqwa. Now, an atheist, if for example decided to do something good, you can't say he is muttaqi lillah. He does not believe in Allah. So his job, his work has nothing to do with taqwa. You can't call him muttaqi. An atheist, it's impossible. It's unacceptable, illogical. So when you say this is a specific law, it's a divine law, but specific for what? Believers. We have a general law. Like we have other physics, for example, physical law, mathematical law, chemical law, they are general for everyone. Yani, chemistry and math and physics, they do not work for believers. They work for human beings. Yani, if a believer and non-believer, both of them, they were thrown into the sea, the non-believer was trained well to swim. The non-believer does not know to swim. The non-believer will escape. The believer will be drowned and he will lose his life. It has nothing to do with faith. Yani the water will not change its nature and will become solid because the non-believer does not know to swim, and because his believer, the water will tell. It might happen as a karama. This is something else. Very, very VIP law. Okay? Normal law, the non-believer will die. Sorry, the believer will die, the non-believer will escape. النار تحرق. Allah created the fire, burns. If a believer is misusing the fire, he will be burned. Playing with fire. Non-believer taking the precaution will be protected. This is general laws. Now one of the general divine laws, وَلَوْلَا دَفْعُ اللَّهِ النَّاسَ بَعْضَهُمْ بِبَعْضٍ. Al-Mawdudi says, this explains the principle according to which God treats the nations as a part of the divine system governing the world. Sunnah al-Kawniyya. He allows various nations to attain power and strength within certain limits. Look, he allows, يسمح, يأذن, certain nations to have strength and power, but with some kind of limits. But when any nation begins to commit wrongs and exceed reasonable limits, God brings forth another nation as a counterweight. Subhanallah. Where the dominion of one nation or party to endure forever, and where its capacity to do wrongs granted in eternity, which means Allah will not grant any nation the full strength and power against other nations forever. It's for a limited time. But this limitation is not measured by my wish and your wish. Which means the span of my existence and your existence. Because I, for example, I exist for 50 years, for example. It's not supposed that I witness everything. The fall and the ups of nations and civilizations. This might take 50 years, 70 years, 80 years. Now, communism. United USSR, United Soviet Social Republic, was established in 1917 after the First World War. the perestroika, full collapse of the communist, powerful previous Soviet Union, 1991. So you're talking about 74 years. Boom. It was inherited by Russia now. The biggest enemy for the Americans and the biggest, most fearing power by Americans. It was previous Soviet United, which is USSR, United Soviet Social Republic. Subhanallah, 70 years, boom, collapse. Romans, more than 2,000 years. Persians, I don't remember how, but I'm assuming more than 2,000 years. Pharaohs, Fara'ina, 44 family for hundreds of years. But at the end, no one. So he says, eternity, God's earth, if Allah did not do this, God's earth would become full of corruption and wickedness. So be sure, what we are witnessing even now, no one will stay with full power. Allah will not allow it. No one. We might witness, by the way, we are witnessing now the beginning of the collapse. The beginning of the collapse. Some of us, the youth might witness the full collapse of some of the great powers by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. طيب. Now, today's lesson. تلك آيات الله نتلوها عليك بالحق وإنك لمن المرسلين. These are Allah's revelations which we recite to you, O Prophet in truth, and you are truly one of the messengers. Look, this ayah came after telling a story from the people of Israel with about 3,000 years back. It's part of the ghaib. Are you with me? تلك آيات الله. These verses about it happened this and this and be careful, we did this and this against all this. After Allah mentioned this story and that story, تلك آيات الله. These are the verses, the revelations of Allah. نتلوها عليك بالحق, which we recite to you in truth, and you are truly one of the messengers. Let's think. Who on earth knows these details for sure? We are talking about Dawood, Goliath, and Saul. These things are related to who? Who knows them in for sure? I'm asking you. Bnei Israel, the children of Israel, it's their stories. And they know it in their Torah and their Talmud. They know it. And they are the only people who are for sure they know these details. Type. Who are supposed to be believing in these details, first of all? Bnei Israel. Yet, they were from the high top projectors for Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Allah is assuring to them, be careful. تلك آيات نتلو عليك بالحق. These details were not known to anyone easily, except to the experts. And that time is not like now. There's no access for knowledge. Be careful. Sometimes some very silly things might not come to our mind. How many of you know just 500 years ago, one of the reasons that made Protestantism to exist, one of the reasons, do you know what was it? One out of maybe 18 reasons. One of them, do you know what was it? In the Catholic Church in Europe, it was prohibited for the normal lay European Christian to read the Bible. Do you know this? Do you know that Bible was written either in Latin or in Greek, the manuscripts? And the hierarchy system of the Catholic Church, the Pope, the cardinals, the priests, they had the access through these two languages with the manuscripts, and it was prohibited religiously to own a copy by the local language. Yani, German normal people, they did not have the privilege to have a copy of the Bible in German language. And by the way, just a pause. German language is the origin of English language. Okay? So English is from the Germanic languages. That's why the oldest, one of the funny things I discovered in the UK while I was doing my PhD, one of the most interesting things, that the oldest English dictionary old is 1,000 years, exactly. No English person can read it or understand it, but German person can read it and understand it. Although it's an English one. Anyway, my point. So German, English, Dutch, Holland, whatever, did not have their own code because they were not allowed religiously. So when Martin Luther and Calvin, they protested against the church out of about 18 reasons why they protested, it was, we have the right to translate our holy book from Latin and Greek into our local languages. Okay, I'm talking about 500 years, which means accessibility to knowledge was nearly zero, except by a very limited group of religious people. So therefore, 200 years ago, you can tell why the idea of secularism in France and the French Revolution had this kind of secularism, which is the detachment between the religion, the church, and the state. Because people, they say, we don't want to read this religion. Why are you prompting me? Anyway, but I'm just giving you an idea. So go back 1,400 years. What is the level, even if you want to know, if you don't know a Jewish rabbi, if you are not close to him, and you don't know Hebrew language, you can't have the access to the knowledge of the Bible. In the Arabic Peninsula, no one has access except Jews, the only. It's a common sense. Arabs, they don't know Hebrew. Jews, they have their own Torah manuscript by their own language. So how can you have their knowledge if they do not allow you? No way. Very simple. So when Prophet Muhammad ﷺ comes and challenges and says such and such, okay, come to test you. What about this? Answer. What about this? Oh my God, he knows everything. It's not that he's correcting what you, oh, okay. By the way, I'm a very visual person. I want to go with you with a very quick virtual cinematic journey to understand what used to happen at Al-Madinah there. So please wear your VR, okay? Put it, go with me now. To imagine the debate between Muhammad ﷺ and the rabbis of the children of Israel in terms of the accuracy of the knowledge and why Allah is saying here, تلك آيات نتلوها بالحق وإنك لمن المرسلين. To know what does it mean? Imagine with me the following situation. Are you with me in the journey now? Flying? Right. I will bring you back, then I'll make an analogy. Look to the analogy now. Imagine me sitting now with 10 retired big officers in CIA. Me, simple, humble Jordanian Arab, sitting with 10 big retired CIA officers. Each one of them, when he was in duty, he was in top department in the CIA. Okay? So imagine me, I started having a discussion with them, and I was claiming that I know something very, very serious about X topic. Okay? This is the topic that I'm discussing. And they were shocked that I'm discussing this topic. All of them at once, they say, how do you know about this? I said, now working with the CIA. Said, no, it's impossible. It's impossible. I said, how can I prove it to you? Do you accept my challenge? They are all retired. They have no connection now. I said, what if I told all of you about every single thing you know when you were in your duty? And I gave you every single code and step you used to do it when you were in duty, and I will connect between you what most of you don't know. I said, no, it's impossible. Because then I started telling them some of a very, very accurate details. They know, each one of them, it's impossible to be known unless by high top officer in the CIA. They know it. So I started challenging them, adding this and such. They ask, I do not just answer, I give extra details, and they were astonished. And I gave them more than 30 to 40 to 50 evidences about the details, their offices, their duties, their missions, their recruitment, in details. If they want to respect the reason, they have to say what? They asked me any question, they will answer. And I challenge them, even with the details, they themselves, they are not aware of some of it. And all the time, everything I said, they admitted, that's true, that's true, that's true, that's true. This means technically what? I'm saying the truth, and I'm working with the top level in the CIA, and they have to respect me. If they decided not to respect, can they do it, by the way? Yes. But I will tell them, face the consequences. Because I'm on a mission now. And I was asked to tell your 10 after you've been retired to do such and such. If you reject, you will know how you will be punished because you were there. Do you know why? It's more or less something like that. This is exactly what used to happen. You are the experts and you know that I'm saying the truth. You were there. I'm not speaking with a stranger now. I'm speaking with someone who were there. Who was even asking me, okay, let me test you. Do you know when I was there, who was the one who's in charge of XX operation? Yes, such and such. But give me a sign that you know that he was. Yes. Do you want to tell you what he used to drink? The color of his office? How many times he changed the curtains in his office? At what time exactly? Do you want to tell me his second wife, why he divorced her, and how many cases in the court it was against him? Okay, sorry, خلاص, okay, stop. خلاص, close it. Thank you. I know you know him for very well. خلاص. Because sometimes when you challenge someone that he does not know, and he will astonish you with the details that unexpected, it's like an evidence that he knows what he's talking about. He knows for sure what he's talking about. And you have one of two options, either to accept or to reject. If you accept, you are a Muslim. If you reject, you are a rejecter. Which means, yes. Look how simple it is. We are the religion of very simple things. Alhamdulillah, wallahi, it thinks it's the black and white. It's very simple. Right, left. That's it. Choose. Liberal, conservative. That's it. You know, Republicans or Democrats, take a decision. You will face the consequences. This is the most important thing we need to know about this ayah. And by the way, if you want to enjoy reading the Quran, and I will finish by this inshallah. If you want to enjoy reading the Quran, always try to connect the verses with each other. When you read about something, it's related to something. طيب, why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say تلك الرسل فضلنا وأرسلناها sorry تلك آيات الله نتلوها عليك بالحق, because they used to keep testing him and rejecting him and try to mislead the people around him that he's not saying the truth. For example, when you go to chapter Al-Kahf, Surah Al-Kahf that we read, one of the basic things according to Hadith Sahih, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was asked about the spirit, الروح. وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الروح قُلِ الروح مِنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّي وَمَا أُوتِيتُ مِنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قليلا. Sorry, not Al-Kahf. I'm sorry. Sorry. I mean the verse, because I mixed it with the Fityatul Kahf and the other story because it's not authentic. So I wanted to say a non-authentic riwayah, then I changed it with the authentic one. The authentic one is about, because my mind was thinking about the three stories of chapter Al-Kahf, which is Fityatul Kahf and Musa and Al-Khadr and Dhul Qarnayn. It's mentioned in Kutub al-Tafsir in tens of them, a narration which is not sahih. About that, the Jews, they went to the people of Quraysh, and the people of Quraysh, they asked Prophet Muhammad about it. It's very widespread, but it's not sahih. What is authentic, وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الروح قُلِ الروح, who asked him? It was the Jews in specific. Because they asked him many questions to keep testing him or to see how he will respond. And every time, because they were chatting, they say, if he started to speak in philosophical things, spirit, blah, blah, it means he's just fabricating things. if he said, I don't know, he is a prophet. This is one of the tests that he did for him. What's the spirit of Muhammad? Prophet ﷺ does not answer. He waits for Jibril alayhi salam. Then when Jibril leaves him, قال ويسألونك عن الروح قل الروح من أمر ربي وما أوتيتم من العلم إلا قليلا. So between them they say he's saying the truth because this is the answer. But we keep on. ونحن عليه وآباؤنا. Now I will stop with this. Next time inshallah we will start with قول الله تعالى تلك الرسل فضلنا بعضهم على بعض منهم من كلم الله ورفع بعضهم فوق بعض ورفع بعضهم درجات وآتينا عيسى ابن مريم البينات وأيدناه بروح القدس. We have chosen some of those messengers above others. We will talk about how Allah is favoring prophets and messengers, and we will discuss Allah spoke directly to some and raised some high in rank. To Jesus, son of Mary, we gave clear proofs and supported him with the Holy Spirit. So we'll discuss the concept of the Holy Spirit. What does it mean in Christianity and in Islam? Because this word is misused by some who do not have knowledge. This will happen, inshallah, next time if we stay alive. Jazakum Allah khair, barakallah fikum. See you next Monday and Tuesday. Assalamu alaikum. Jazakum Allah khair for the coffee.